There's a few things that we need to do before we start our PNP generator. So first we need to make sure that our station lock is off, and then we need to make sure that we have our global scale factors set. So I'm going to go under Power En-ROADS Commands, Tools, and I'm going to say Explorer Show Hide. And now in my toolbar I have the station lock already highlighted, so it's off. If you need to navigate to this, go to Tools, Locks, and then just make sure that station is not clicked. Now we're going to hide that Explorer bar and go to Tools, Global Scale Factors, and lock these and set. For me, I'm making 30 scale PNP sheets, so I'm going to set this to 30 and apply. And I want to make sure that my cell is set at 30 also, because that is going to control how my north arrow comes in. So now close that. You also need to make sure that you have an alignment open and that you have your existing ground open. Your horizontal alignment is what's going to control your plan view, and your existing ground is what's going to control your profile view. So now we will go to Drafting, Plan and Profile Generator. Now I am going to load some preset preferences. So I'm going to do 30 scale Mac ODOT PNP. My horizontal alignment is already highlighted. If you had more, you could pick what horizontal you wanted to create your PNPs off of. Automatically comes in that we're going to make plan and profiles. Going to use the station limits to create our sheets, and we do want to generate sheets. So my start station is already at 10. I want the last sheet to be a full sheet. I don't want it to stop halfway. So I'm going to change this to 55 plus naught. And for the 30 scale, the length of each sheet is already set to 900, which is accurate for my scale that I chose in my preferences and my global scale factor. Under plan controls, this automatically populates with how far to the left and right of your center line you are going to have on your sheet. And we want to force a rectangular boundary. This means that if the horizontal curves, we're still going to get a rectangular border on our plan sheet. If you want your model files to have live nesting, you can click here and it will do that. Under model files, I am going to navigate through. I do want my work file shown in this instance, so I'm going to say open. Then I'm going to go and find the design file for our project. So under T and then our our Mac project number and drawings, I can find our topo and our design file. And I can select multiples and say open, and they'll all come in here. If you have a notes file or some other files that you want, these are all of the files that are going to be referenced into the plan view. Under profile controls, you want to make sure that your profile preference is set to the correct preference for your PNP that you're creating. So I need 30 scale for these. The vertical alignment I'm going to select. Also under surfaces, you want to make sure that you have the X on your existing ground and also highlight your existing ground, because if there needs to be a shift in the profile, PNP Generator will do that for you, and it'll shift based on the surface that you have highlighted. Everything else should populate based on your preferences. Under sheet layout, you are going to start numbering your sheets at 1. And then host file, select your browse, and this is where all of your generated sheets are going to be placed. So for me, I want them placed in a work file, and then this is how the file name is going to begin. So I'll do my Mac file name, and then -pp, and save. So now every sheet that I generate will go to this location that I've navigated, and it'll start numbering at 1 and number my sheets sequentially from there. The seed host file is the same as your seed file that you saved from the previous video. So I'm going to navigate to where that seed file is located for my PNPs. And then everything else will come in according to your preferences. View layout comes in according to your preferences. Sheet index we'll talk about later. Match lines come in according to preferences. Symbols and details, this is where your north arrow is attached. It comes in based on preferences. Your border and title, you need to left click in the reference file name. This is going to be your sheet border, and browse to wherever you saved your sheet border from the previous video for PNP Generator. There's my border. Now the sheet size, this is a custom size for ODOT, so make sure this is set to the size sheet for the full size print that you're going to be doing. So now we'll go back to main, everything's set up, and whenever I hit apply, I'm going to be prompted to left click where I want to generate my profile views. The plan views will be pulled from the alignment and the size of plan view that you specified in here. But the profile views are going to be created by PNP Generator and then referenced into the sheet. So I'm going to navigate back to my work file, which is where I did all of my profile designs, and I'm going to place these profile generated views in my work file, and this is where it's going to be referenced to the PNPs. So now I'm going to click apply, and you can see that En-ROADS is prompting me to identify the location of my profile views. I'm going to left click in an empty space, and PNP Generator will begin creating all of my sheets. These will pop up very shortly to give you a little preview, and when PNP Generator is done, it will show you the very last PNP sheet that it created. So now I can go to sheet index, and here are all of my sheets 1 through 5. I can select sheet 3, for example, and say show sheet, and En-ROADS will navigate me to that sheet so that I can review it. It's minimized since it went there. I can maximize it again. So as you can see here on sheet 3, PNP Generator is only putting together your files for you so you don't have to do them by hand. So you can see that it referenced in the plan view my work file, the topo, and the design file exactly as I specified, and it referenced our PNP border with all of the levels off that I specified in the previous video. Also, it referenced in the profile the drawing that I placed my profile views in. I can see all of these profile views individually by navigating back to my work file where I placed them. There are all of the profile views that are referenced into PNP Generator. You can update profiles and annotate profiles from here, and it will select the entire set as one profile and annotate accordingly. The last thing that you're going to want to do before you close your PNP Generator is go under the Sheet Index tab, and in this VDF file name, that's your view definition file. So all of these sheet indexes, where it's tracking the sheets that you created, you want to save those so that you can edit them later if you need to. So left click in the VDF file name and say Save As, and then you're going to want to navigate back through your project file and save it under your En-ROADS, and you can name it whatever you want. I've named these PNP Generator test views, so I'm going to say save. I already had one, so I want to override it. I'll say yes. So that's going to be the last thing you do before you close your PNP Generator.